Hello again, this is Rob Veach from Vparanormal. Back in 2011, I developed something called the Paratalk, and it was a device that allowed me to communicate, take my voice, and convert it to a scanning FM signal. And then in 2012, I added the capability to have it transmit EMF of my voice from the microphone amplified. Now this was a low power EMF signal, as well as the FM scanning was low power. I was recently talking with Mary Marshall, the Paranormal MD. She's been doing some outdoor field research in northern Wisconsin for the last year, looking at different light anomalies and cryptids. And she asked me if she knew if there was anything available that could transmit a person's voice or an audio file, music, recording questions, powerfully as an EMF. So I looked at what was available out there, and there really isn't anything that does that. There's small coils that are similar to the coil that I wound on the Paratalk, but it's all low power. So I started thinking about something to build that would do that. Paratalk is low power, as I mentioned, and what I did is I modified it to have a line output plug on here so that I can get normal line output of my voice or whatever I set into it, music and things like that. But I had no way to transmit my voice high power. So what I'm going to show you is what I came up with, and this is something that you'll be able to build. It's real simple. I'm going to show you what parts you need and so forth in this video. It's essentially an energy speaker, but I'm calling it a long-range audio to EMF, because that's essentially what it does. It's going to take, I have it mounted on a tripod right here, and what this is going to do is real simple. It's an MP3 amplifier Bluetooth. What I've done is I've taken the left speaker, and it's still in there physically, but it's not wired up anymore. And what has happened is the back of it now has a RCA plug where that speaker was electrically. So when you turn this thing on, you're going to get right channel audio, but you're not going to hear the left channel. And what's going to happen is that audio signal, which is about 5 watts, is now going to go to this EMF coil. And this is very simple to make. I'm going to have the information you need to make this in this video. And what's going to happen is whenever you send audio to this device through this cable, which I'm going to have the link for, it has a volume control on here. That audio is going to be heard on the right channel only, and the left channel is going to be heard as EMF into the environment. So I'm going to demonstrate how this works a couple different ways. I'm going to turn this on, which is on already, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to turn the Paratalk on also, and I'm going to take the line output of the Paratalk. Now it's very loud, I'm getting feedback because I'm too close to the speaker source, but that's transmitting my voice, and I can lower the volume right here so that you don't have to hear the speaker. And I'm going to take a K2 meter, and I'm going to show you that as I'm speaking, you can see my voice is going into the environment. And you can see by the colors there that it's very powerful. And of course it drops based on the square of the distance, but you can see how powerful that is. Now to demonstrate that this is working like I'm describing, I'm going to take a digital recorder, which has a audio tone on there, a test signal. I'm going to turn the volume up. Listen. So that's setting a test signal on the right and the left. The left is not going to the speaker, it's going to the EMF coil. So let's verify that with the K2 meter. And I'm going to verify that another way. I'm going to turn the volume down so that we can't hear it anymore. And I have another small Bluetooth amplifier, and I've got another coil acting like a microphone. So if this is really doing what I'm saying, then this is going to be converted to audio. So I'm going to place this near the coil and hit the play button. And you can hear right there, that audio is coming out of this device. It's no longer coming out of that device, it's going right into the air. And you can see it's proportional to how close you are to the coil. So that's proof that whatever we send this, whatever is going through this device, is going into the environment as a very powerful EMF signal. So here I'm asking a series of questions that I put on this little digital recorder, and that also can go as an EMF signal. Is there anybody in this environment, in this room, in this house, that can communicate with us to any of these devices you see in front of us? Please communicate in any way that you... You could also use the Bluetooth player on the device itself. And I'm going to show that right now. I disconnected that audio cable, and I have my cell phone. So that's streaming some music. There you go. Or I can test it with the coil to verify. So that means you could use your, whatever, your cell phone, whatever works with Bluetooth, your laptop, your netbook, into this, and it'll transmit the left channel is EMF and let you hear the right channel. And that's very useful also. You could also use your cell phone, has your headphone output, and you could send your voice and your questions or music also to this device. I'm going to show how this is built and where you can get this Bluetooth, the C26 is called, and how to make this coil and what wire to use, and this audio cable that I keep using here to adjust the volume. I'm going to show that, and I'm going to show you how you put a simple little wiring change to this so that you can adjust the volume only of the right channel. I think this is a real practical thing to have in your kit for paranormal. This is one of those things where we don't know what an environment can hear, what's going on in the environment, what entities can hear. EMF is a really basic form of communication. It's one of the earliest forms. It's before even AM and FM. It's very simple, simplistic form of communication, and the fact that you could send music to trigger an entity's interest or questions, that's just very valuable, I think. And for outdoor use, we have an upcoming investigation at Bachelor's Grove Cemetery. And we just want something that will get beyond the local area that we're going to be. We want to get into the forest area of Bachelor's Grove because there's some activity in that forest area, so I wanted something more powerful. So this is a very simple modification to this Bluetooth player. These bolts come off and you can gain access to the speaker, and then this backside, these bolts come off also, and you take this rubberized piece off quite easily, and you separate these two halves. There's a line down the middle, and you separate them without this rubber piece, and you'll see the left speaker can easily be pulled out. You can pull the right one out too, but you're not going to need to do that. It's just pressure fit. Pull the left one out, and you unsolder the two connections. There's a black wire and a red wire, and then you want to drill a hole in the back, and that's where I put that red and black wire to an RCA plug, and I glued that in after I tightened it. And that's really simple also. The red wire goes to the center of this RCA plug, and the black wire goes to the ground. And that way you have access to this left speaker. So this left speaker is no longer connected, it's just the right speaker. So we're going to use this to drive the EMF coil. Now here's the EMF coil, and it has a wire, flexible wire, about 3 feet on there, and on the other end it has a mating plug, RCA, and of course that is going to plug right into the new connection on the Bluetooth player, and that allows this left channel to no longer have audio, but to send that audio signal to this coil. The coil itself is real simple to make. You can use any material to form it. It's got to be like cardboard or a fiber board. I use fiber board. And it doesn't have to be this particular shape. It could be a circle. I just happen to have the shape available. It's belted 80/50 wire. It's 20 gauge, 20 AWG, and it's called 1 pound. And it's about 320 feet approximately. And this is wrapped around, as you can see on the side profile here. It's wrapped around, and I put a little glue on there to hold it. And on the back, the wires come together, and it just gets electrically connected to that cable, which has got the RCA connector on the end. And in terms of dimensions, the size of this is, on the inner side, it's a little over about 4.5 inches by 4 inches. And again, you could probably get away with a 4-inch circle or a 4.5-inch circle. It doesn't have to be this shape. And then the width, you want to make your fiberboard or cardboard, whatever you use, is 3/4 of an inch. And then that cable will fit nicely with that size and that dimension. So you make it 3/4 of an inch thick to hold that cable, and you make it with a diameter, I would recommend a diameter of 5 inches, even if you go with a circle. And then this whole thing, when it's done, ends up being about 3 ohms resistance right here of the coil. With the cable, it's about 3 ohms, including the cable. The whole point of doing this bypassing is so that, it's shown schematically here, is so that the left channel is not controlled by the volume control. You want to have the left channel have the strongest signal, because that's the one that's going into the EMF, to the coil. The right channel is going through as audio. Or wired like this, where you've got the ground, and you got this the right, and then you have the left. So it's ground, right, and left. So this is wired to two separate potentiometers, and then it goes over to the other end, which is right here. And then in between is those volume controls right there. And if you look, you can open this up pretty easily by using a sharp X-Acto knife right there. It opens up. Opens up both directions. And you can gain access to the little circuit board in there and the wires, and those are where the connections are that we're going to solder. We're going to bypass. I'm going to show you that next. So looking at the connector that has the volume control on there, it turns out that the pins for the left input are 2, that's the left, and 5 is the out, 2 and 5. So we want to jumper the 2 and the 5, which will take the left and put it directly here, the output, because you want to have the left signal go right to the output. You don't want any volume control on that, because you want to send full EMF all the time. So it's real simple. There's 2 and 5 on this little connector right here, and all I did was I soldered a jumper wire from the 2nd pin to the 5th pin, just like I show right here, the 2nd pin to the 5th pin. And what that does is it bypasses the volume control for the left, so the input essentially goes right to the output of this connector right here. After you solder it, you want to use really thin wire and make sure it's got a little conductor on there, and then tuck those wires in. Even if you have to tuck them under the plastic here, just melt some holes or something, and then try to reassemble it carefully. It snaps back together. Hope you enjoy this video and you build one of these things for your own team. I think it'd be well worth the effort. So thanks for watching.